Hey trumpets, Dr. P here. I'd like to go through page 8 with you a little bit. So you can see at the top of the page, there are maybe some new notes and some new rhythms, okay? But we've actually been working on those pitches for a while. D, first and third valve, and C, they're in the yellow box. There's also maybe some new rhythms that are on this page, which is the half note. We've also been playing them for a while in class, but maybe not looking at them with our eyes quite yet, okay? So let's use the same process we used for page 7 and kind of go through in detail here and identify some of the tricky measures and how to practice them. So when I look at number 15, where do you think those tricky measures are at? Study your music real quick. What are you finding? What are the tricky measures? When I look at it, I see the ending as being kind of tricky, the last 4 measures. So let's say the letter names and do the fingerings through those measures. Okay, here's the note for singing. Okay, that's our first pitch. We're going to sing 1, 2, ready, and go. C, C, D, D, E, 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 D, D, C. So we get all those pitches in there. And then after you kind of get those fingers down, then you can play it through. 2, ready? Just remember, the real trick to being efficient when you're practicing and using your time wisely is catching what are the tricky things. And if you attack those tricky things first with, say, saying the letter name and doing the fingering, then isolating and playing it, then putting the entire line of music or song or whatever you're working on together can be done a lot faster and more efficiently. So let's play through number 15. Remember, it starts with whole notes. So 1, 2, ready? Two, three. So that's number 15. Number 16 is kind of a cool one. It's a duet, okay? I'm going to leave the practicing of the duet entirely up to you. You go ahead and figure out how your part goes for line A. But what I am going to do is I'm going to play line B so that you have someone to play with on the duet. So I'm going to play line B. You can play it back and forth a bunch and you can learn your part line A, but you'll have line B to hear how you fit with it. Okay, so I'll be your duet partner virtual. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready? So there's the line B part for the duet. I'm going to skip over 17 hot cross buns. I think you have that one down. But let's take a peek at number 18, okay? So on number 18, let's take a second and see if we can identify a couple things happening in it. First, I want you to look carefully at the music and see if you can find a pattern. Are you noticing anything that's the same? You should have noticed that the first half of the song and the second half of the song are identical, okay? The two halves of the music are identical. So that's another thing you can look out for when you're practicing. Many times in music, there's sections that get repeated. And if you can identify that section that's repeated, you can cut your practicing time in half, by a third, by a quarter. You can cut your practicing time down quite a bit by recognizing that. So in this song, if you have the first half, you've got the second half, okay? Now within that, what is the tricky measure? Let's leave it to the first 4. See if you can find the measure that's tricky. Yep, you got it. It's the third measure, okay? So isolating the third measure, here's our pitch for singing. Okay, let's see if we can sing and finger through. 1, 2, ready, go. C, E, D, D, C. Maybe let's go a little slower to isolate. 1, 2, ready, go. C, E, D, D, C. Okay, so if you get that down, you've got it. Now, just to make sure, let's speak our way through the first 4 measures. 1, 2, ready, go. C, 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 D, E, D, C, E, D, D, C. So go ahead and speak your way through it till you're feeling very comfortable, but here's what the whole song sounds like. 1, 2, ready. Cool. I've got a little water in the horn. I'm going to empty it out real quick. And I'm ready to go. So, let's take a look at the final tune, okay, for this page, which is Jingle Bells, okay? So this one, we're going to work on identifying what's tricky on it, okay? And then I'll play it once for you slow, and I'll play it once for you kind of fast at Jingle Bell speed, okay? So let's study up real quick. What bars look tricky as you're playing through? I see a few of them. I see the third measures, a measure we might need to isolate. And then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th measure and the 8th measure are a little bit tricky. And then when I look down to the 2nd line, and I look back from the end, the 2nd to last measure is a little bit tricky. So let's break it down, okay? 3rd measure, okay? We've got, there's our E, and we've got E, G, C, D, E. Let's do that again. Ready? Go. E, G, C, D, E. So I'd work through all those measures, the 3rd measure, the 7th and 8th measure, and the 2nd to last measure from the end, and see if I could just get the fingers down through all of those and make sure they're really good. Okay? Let's speak our way through one time, though. Through the whole song slowly. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. E, 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 G, C, D, E. Rest, rest. F, 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 E, 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 D, D, E, D, G, E, 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 G, C, D, E, rest, rest. F, 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 E, E, G, G, F, D, C. And so that's kind of what the tune sounds like if you were fingering your way through it only. Now let's play through it slowly. 1, 2, ready? So that's kind of at a medium learning speed. Then, maybe in a couple weeks, maybe today, maybe it just depends where you're at on the progression here, but we can play it quicker. So I'm going to play it kind of performance speed now. T, 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 T. This is kind of how you'd sing it if you were going to play it. Sing it. Here's how you'd play it at that speed. 1, 2, ready? So if you're going to kind of play it faster like you would sing it, that's a way that you could play it. So, had fun playing with you guys today. Feel free to rewind through the video to work on the things you need to work on, but hopefully this will be helpful for you. You can kind of get in your ear what the songs are supposed to sound like. See you in class.